The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm your host, Joni Skinner. Tonight on True Crime Wednesday night, we are streaming live on the R.I.F.T Nation Network, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, maybe. I think we're still on Twitch, but definitely Facebook and YouTube. Please hit the like and share button. We are also, if you are a podcaster, on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeart. So look up our podcast under the R.I.F.T Nation Network or RNN. Welcome, everybody. How are you this Wednesday? What a weird true crime week. I mean, we covered Miss Nancy's case last week, right when it had just happened, remember? So we really didn't have, I didn't have really any good timestamps. Now I do. Ro and I were up, Miss Roro and I were up like at all night. I don't know what time we went, I guess about 2 a.m. because as things were uncovering and unfolding last night, we would look at maps and she would be like, what line is this? And I'm like, wait, that's Jupiter line. That's the bearing of this because it's in Cancer or whatever. I mean, whenever this stuff happens with us, it gets weird. We need like a live stream just to monitor the live streams. That's what we need to do. So we need like an astrology back channel. and have if you would see the maps and the charts for this case, look, this is just for Nancy's case. Look at this. It's look, here we go. Look, this is all of her charts. I mean, and more charts. Because this is like Cavalcante. Linda, remember Cavalcante in PA? Because every time there would be a sighting of Cavalcante in Pennsylvania when he escaped from that prison, I would do a new chart. And then we literally, remember that, Linda? We were JLR was on that one too. As JLR was tracking it, he was there, wasn't he, Linda, too? It would be a whole new chart or map. So this is how Nancy Guthrie's case is. And it's like, I don't know why certain cases, well, I could see why Nancy Guthrie's, 84-year-old, she's everybody's mom or grandma. She is America's mom, grandma. And, it was like Gabby Petito's case. Certain cases literally captivate the world. This is one of them. And I'm not sure, possibly because her daughter is famous, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think even if this wasn't Savannah Guthrie's mother, I think any elderly person or grandma, we did our little gentleman down in Florida. They captivate our hearts. And but this is just on an astrology level. We're under a great conjunction with Neptune and Saturn. Now, this will be exact on February 20th. The last time these two were together in this degree in Aries was 8,000 years ago. So we're in a weird energy time to be under this conjunction during a true crime. You don't know what, you can just see how they're handling the whole case. I've never seen a case handled like this in 35, 40 years. And it's not their fault. There's a lot of parts on this. Abductions are pretty rare. And especially if they have, I'm iffy about the ransom. I don't think any of us know if it's true or not. But even with the ransom, that's very, very rare. Kidnappings are rare in the United States. They're not rare in Mexico. They're not rare in other countries. They're rare here. So was it a kidnap? We don't really even know if she was kidnapped. So we're under Neptune. When do I think clarity will come? After, let me look at my count. I'm looking at the calendar on my computer. After the solar eclipse, maybe on the 17th, I think after the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 20th, we might start to get pieces of clarity coming in. Now, we do have a Uranus transit that's occurring right now that may blow the whole thing wide open. Uranus and the sun may expose it all, and we're in that now. So we're gonna have it's so crazy astrologically. We're gonna have to wait and see, but we've got updates. JLR investigates. Brian is covering it. There's a lot of really great true crimers that are JLR's boots on the ground. Brian is boots on the ground. You just get updates, and they are the old-fashioned, of course, for our younger viewers and listeners, JLR and Brian Eaton, and a lot of these younger people that are boots, what I call boots on the ground, I guess that's what you'd call them, are what all the old journalists used to be. They went out and they would call it on the beat. They would be on the beat. and people would literally run from them. Celebrities would run, like Diana would run from the paparazzi and the reporters. Now, most reporters just sit behind desks. But these kids are giving us information live as it breaks. We're not waiting for them to call in or put it in their phone as to what's happening. We're watching it live. And I think that a lot of people aren't used to that, but it's great. It's great journalism from these young people. So let's catch up with the chat, and I want to show y'all what we've got. And I'm telling you, next week we're going to do the Dolly Madison murders, because that's a really good, it's a really interesting case, cold case from Kansas. It's an older case, and it fits in good with the theme of the solar eclipse in Aquarius. You know, during solar eclipses, we're in eclipse season right now. Do you know that I've watched this for years? Patterns, cold cases are solved during eclipse season. Cases are solved. Like, they will find people that have been missing for 30 years. Watch, mark my words. Let's see. Yeah, 6 days out, you're going to start seeing them. Solar eclipse, it illuminates. Hello, Miss Linda. How are you? Remember that, Linda, with Calvacante, and JLR was live there too, I believe. Yes, he was. So if you want to keep up with Miss Guthrie's case, JLR investigates on YouTube. And he's on Twitter too, I think. He's on Twitter as well. Well, X, my bad. Twitter. X, Twitter. But I watch him on YouTube. JLR investigates. He keeps you up to date, up to minute. Brian Eaton, always up to date. How are you, Linda? I hope all's well. Hello, Miss Kathy. How are you? And Miss Denise, hello to my friends in Canada. Just really condolences go out to what happened to the children up there. Massive pow up in Canada. 10, I think, were unalived, and 25 injuries. Massive pow up in British Columbia in Canada. So just heart-wrenching. It's just heartbreaking. I'm surprised at that too. Usually that happens down here, but the world is crazy right now. It'll calm down, I promise. It's going to be a little bumpy, but we're in the thick of it now. How are you, Miss Denise? And Miss Lily, I know she's following JLR as well, because she was texting me today, and I'm like, I'm at work. I can't really listen. I can't follow too much. I can at lunch, but not a lot during work. Accidentally hit the smiley. That's all right. You can hit the smiley. Miss Kath made it. How are you, Miss Cindy? It's interesting. It's pretty mind-boggling, but I know I say this every week. I need to come up and say something different. The astrology and forensic astrology, it's math, right? There's no fudging it. You can't make up what everything means something, especially the mapping. You can't fudge up the mapping. And the accuracy of what I'm seeing now with Miss Guthrie's chart, and I'm kind of sitting back and waiting, because I think, the last chart, which was the 911 chart, and I'm going to finish that 911 call chart. Everything was in the 10th house. Now, when the 10th house is packed with planets, that means it's going to be solved. So it's going to be solved because of that 10th house. But I still have to map the 911 call. So it's really something else. Wait till you guys see this. Hi, Miss Lois. How are you, hon? I hope y'all are doing well. How's Miss Tammy doing? Okay, so let's see what Miss Lee's up to. Monitoring Nancy's case. I'm seeing procedure being conducted backwards. I would have had officers looking on sides of road immediately as well. You know, I think it's easy, and I'm going to be a devil's advocate here because I think for smaller areas that get hit with this kind of a case, I mean, we've seen this before, and they were just the onslaught of world, and it's not just from America paying attention to this. This is worldwide, and these little, it's not really a small, but I think they just get overwhelmed, and I think 84. It's an older population in Tucson. And I think they get probably the majority of their calls are a lot of missing elderly people. I mean, they may have dementia people. They wander. Did they fall? Did they get hurt? So I don't think at first they knew they anticipated the enormity of the situation. Now, I would think seeing spots of a red liquid on the front steps would be an indication that you've got a big case. But what do elderly people do all the time? When I was watching my mom, when I was mom's caregiver, they fall and they bleed and they get injured. So I'm not, you could see with the sheriff's pressers that he meant well, but he just got overwhelmed. And I think that now that the FBI is kind of helping them, you can see just they're getting a lot more people to get out there on the road and do the searching, and it happens. They walk through the crime scene, but stuff happens. And I think too, we see now things as they occur, and it's not unusual for police to continue to, if they're investigating a case, they go back and they investigate from the inside out, like the family first. Who was in Miss Guthrie's circle? Her circle gets nailed. You know what I mean? And they have to make sure that it was nobody within her inner circle. And then they sweep out. But there's a lot of twists and turns on this one. I'm telling you. It's crazy. What were they thinking? I don't know. Yeah, they are spot on. I think it's pretty neat. Wait till you see these new ones. Linda says she was checking the news last night on her. Oh, I'll tell you what. The news is about 10 steps behind JLR and Brian Eaton. I hate to say that, but if I want to know what's going on, I hit JLR because he's getting it. He's just, I'll tell you what. That's so funny. He's getting the info before anybody. Kathy said mountains. I said orange. Otherwise, others say she's under rocks. I don't know. And many people are still thinking she could possibly still be alive. Anything's possible right now. I don't think you can rule out anything because that we just don't know. And I think it's anybody's guess right now. Tammy says there were over 40,000 people watching JLR last night. I think you can't help but really like JLR. He's very genuine. He's very, very genuine. And he gets the info. And Lee has been posting on X and requesting prayer. I think haven't we all been praying for the Guthrie family? I think the whole country, I think the whole world has. Hi, Miss Lisa. How are you? And Lee, I get a feeling Fox News will offer JLR a job. He might get somebody's job. He should get it. I think the kids have fun. I think the kids have fun doing this. And Wendell says, hey, Tammy, thank you. There you go, Miss Tammy. And Miss Rowe, hey guys, I'm late. Yeah, she's probably taking a nap because we were up half the freaking night. She said she was all worked up. I go, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And she's like, oh, I can't. I'm all worked up. She's all worked up. We get so funny. Kathy's got some ideas buried in the dirt so it does not smell, and then put a few large rocks. You know, anything right now, friends, is possible. I hope not, but I just don't know. And Linda says, watching you from my she shed. I can't say that fast. She shed. That's like she sells. Yeah, it's a very sad event for our friends in Canada. And we're so sorry, Denise and Cindy. And Carrie Lynn texted me and told me about it today. I'm surprised it didn't make more of our news outlets or our social media cycle, but it's so filled with Nancy Guthrie right now. But then I did see it later on after lunch. I saw some pictures and that, you know, some of the little survivors. Tammy follows JLR too. I think everybody follows JLR. I think we all do. And y'all, Brian Eaton is really, really, Brian Eaton's great too. Hey, Wendell, glad you came over. Joni's always spot on. The astrology is always spot on. I just, you know, and Kathy feels there was a woman involved. If you look there, she was behind the man on camera. Interesting. You mean in the videos, Kathy? In the videos? People are picking up a lot of things from the videos that they released. And that's interesting too. Why isn't it? It won't let me show this, Kat. Let me. There. Okay. This is an interesting point. So, Kathy, did y'all see the videos? If you look there, she was behind the man on camera. There was a woman involved. That's what the chart says that too, Kathy. Tammy says, welcome, Wendell. We love having new visitors. Welcome, Wendell. Welcome. All right, you guys, let's get to this. And for everybody that's listening and you know, join us in the chat as well. Well, as you know, we looked at this case last week with Miss Savannah Guthrie and her lovely mother, Nancy. And as many of you know, here's her home in Tucson. January 31st, she had been, we'll go through that on the charts, but this is her home in Tucson, beautiful home. Take note of that ramp, y'all. Take note of the ramp that's leading out from the door. Now, if you remember the spatters and the droplets that we saw last week of her liquid, remember the red, the blood, it was hers. That would have followed her, right? There was none on that little walkway, none in the gravel. It stopped right there. And remember last week in the chat, somebody said, and there were no footprints to walk if you walk through it. So that's interesting. Look how long that walkway is to have gotten her. And there were no dots. Interesting. See, there it is. There's the front again. There's the front. So the video was released. When was the video released, y'all? Was it yesterday? Yesterday. 2 days ago. What's today? What was it, Monday? The video released? I can't remember. It was the Nest camera. And Nest is owned by Google. Even if she did not sign up for the monthly subscription for the Nest. They went back and found this. And this is my thing. If this is what I was thinking, if they found this guy, which is so very creepy, going into the place, and they could extract that, even when the camera was hooked up, do you think that she was captured inside of the home or exiting the home? I don't know. They say there's more video, so we're going to have to keep our eyes open with that. We're going to have to watch that. So this is and when I saw this as a forensic astrologer, for those of you that don't know, we work with what we call timestamps. When the person that went missing was last seen, when they made last contact via phone, text message, if they're on a camera, we cannot put together a forensic astrology chart if we don't have an accurate timestamp. It's all math. This is all done by math. So if the timestamp is incorrect, everything that we see in the chart will be incorrect, down to the mapping that we give to our search and rescue friends, even to law enforcement, for them to go search for people. And they're the accuracy is pretty mind-boggling. So when I saw these timestamps, and I know astrologers that do forensic astrology, this is like an astrologist's dream for this to happen. So we know now, this is what they're telling us, that Miss Nancy traveled to her daughter's home via Uber. But then on 9:48 p.m. on that evening, family member, we still don't know who did it. We don't know if it was her daughter and her husband. We don't know if it was just her son-in-law or just the daughter. We don't know who dropped her off at home, and the garage door closed at 9:50 p.m. It dropped her off. The garage door opened at 9:48 and closed at 9:50. So then at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnected. Okay. So we know how it happened because they gave us a video. So here's a chart. Check. I did this, you guys. I did the chart. Remember, this is the 9 p.m. one. This is when Nancy was at her daughter's and came home, right? So we see again that Nancy is the ascendant, or the first house, which it's Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. So we're going to look for Venus on the chart. So there's Nancy, the fifth house. There's Venus. That's things we enjoy. That's children. She was with her children, enjoying herself, playing games. The co-ruler of the chart, if you remember, is always the moon. Where is the moon? So we have two placements of the victim in a forensic astrology chart. 11th house. There's the moon. You can see the moon up in 11. Okay, that's social circles. That's out. Socializing. So we know that this part of the story is lining up with the astrology, right? We don't have a perp yet because we just don't have a perp. I mapped it. This shocked me. So the pink pin is her daughter's house. And then, of course, the other blue arrow is where Nancy lived. The line, which was the IC line, which is the fourth house, the end of the matter, went exactly, look at that, went exactly to her daughter's house. And not only that, but remember how we do the mileage, you guys? What we do is we look at the ascendant, the degrees of the ascendant, and what we call the IC, the fourth house. And we look at those numbers, and we can add those together, or we decide okay, was it 1 mile, 2 miles, 12 miles? This was exactly 4 miles when I added the IC and the AC. Each was 2 miles. Her daughter's house is exactly 4 miles away. So we know that this chart is correct because we knew she was at her daughter's house. Now, what's funny is the second circle is 4 miles. But when you draw the circle to the daughter's house, it's 2 miles because our circle getting to her daughter's house is not a perfect circle. So it is 4 miles, but it's a little bit more extended because it goes up and down and around. It's 4 miles, but it's not a perfect circle. Does that make sense? So that is chart number 1 that I mapped. That now we know that these timestamps look like they're going to work out for us, right? That we got, because last week we didn't have these timestamps. I guessed at 2 a.m. Remember, 2:28 a.m. made it a difference that you're going to see that's phenomenal. Okay, so let's look at our next chart. Now, this chart is 1:47 a.m., correct? This is when he disconnected her Nest Cam out front that we saw on the video, remember? And people that were watching last week asked me about and they said, why didn't you put Black Moon Lilith in this chart? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. I don't use a lot of Black Moon Lilith in crime charts, but I'm going to put her in anyway. What's funny is this is funny. You know, I always think when people make suggestions or they ask about certain things, there's always a reason. There's always a reason why they're asking. And you always listen to that kind of stuff because lo and behold, Black Moon Lilith showed up in the second house. Black Moon Lilith is not aspected by anything, but guess what the second house is in forensic astrology? It's money. In a forensic chart, it means abduction. It can also mean ransom because it's the house of money. But in Kirsty's book, it is the sign of an abduction. So to the folks out there that said, where's Black Moon Lilith? Well, thank you for that, because look where Black Moon Lilith is. Second house. There you go. So at 1:47 a.m., the cameras are disconnected, correct? So we're going to look, and now Nancy's ascendant is Scorpio. We've had a shift from 950. So those ruling planets are Mars and Pluto. Remember this from last week because we did this around 2 a.m. Fourth house is where all those planets are now. Guess what? She was in the house, remember? 1:47 a.m., she's in the house. There she is, Pluto and Mars together. And we talked about this last week. Also, the moon up in green is up in the 9th house. Remember? The 9th house. So there she is next to Jupiter. Uranus is up. Now we've got a perp. We know we've got a perp, remember? So that's Venus because the perp is the 7th house, Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Look at that. It wasn't that much after 1:47 that this person made entrance into the home or another perp. And I think there's 2 people, and I'm going to show you why I think there's 2 people. Now, at 1:47 a.m., was the first, we saw the first, one of the perps. Was the second perp already entered into the home? I don't know. We're only seeing 1 perp right now. So that is the 1:47. So notice where all those planets are. And we talked about those last week. For a little bit more in-depth info on this chart, please go look at our YouTube from last week because I went into detail about, like, Uranus is in the 7th house. That's an attack. That's a surprise attack. And what they each individually mean. The cameras are definitely Neptune in the sixth. Neptune in the sixth. That's cameras and videos. Okay. Okay. So now, okay, here we go. Here's our 2:28 a.m. chart. Now, last night when Ro and I were up in the situation room at 1 and 2 a.m., we were looking at her chart, her Placidus chart, because my charts were not with me. So I looked at her chart and I used whole sign. She used Placidus. Okay, what in astrology we have so many different kinds of charts that we use that will, okay, for example, not to get really in a Placidus chart, the chart begins at the ascendant degree. So it can make houses like you have a big house and a little house and a bigger house, and you have what we call interceptions in the chart. Whole sign makes each house equal. It's easier for me to read. I like it. But when I saw Rue's chart, I used it to show you all, because look what happens to Pluto. It intercepts on this Placidus chart, and look where it is. Well, what do you know? Second house Pluto. And that's why Ro liked it too, because of abduction. And it could be kidnapping, abduction, ransom. So I thought, is that okay if I use that one? So I run Placidus and whole sign charts with like cases like this. It gives you a better picture. It gives you the whole picture. Okay, so let's look what happened. Where she is now changed. She is now Jupiter, because she's now Sag. She was, remember, Pluto and Mars. She is now ruled by Jupiter and the moon. Guess where they are? And I don't like this. This is one thing I don't like about this chart. And it's the 8th house. We have talked about the eighth house repeatedly every week. That's the house of transformation. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. That's where she is. She's in the house that transformation. And both of the planets that are her are up in the 8th house, which I do not like that. But all of those other planets are in the 3rd house. They have shifted out of the home. And remember, she's leaving, because we've seen now that there's blood on the front patio. They're in the neighborhood. They are in the neighborhood. So we watched in real time, close to those, what the police gave us, compared it to the charts, and in real time, the chart literally shifted in front of us according to the time stamps that they gave us. Up at the top is the later chart at 2:28. We see the perps and everybody in the neighborhood. And then the 1:47 a.m. when they're destroying the camera, she's in the house. But we also see where she has now moved up to the 8th house. Okay. Is that, to me, I think it's simply amazing, because now we are just seeing everything. It's just right in front of us. Now, what's funny, look at this. I wanted to show you this little gem too. I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay, now our perp has changed to Gemini. Remember this? Duality signs, Gemini and Libra. That can indicate that we have 2 victims, 2 perps. All of a sudden, at 2:28 a.m., there are 2 perps, 2 Geminis, because it's Gemini. Where are they? They're in. So I think, and I'm kind of making this up a little bit, but this is just because I'm so into this case now. I believe that there was somebody either in the house from in the back, or they were in the car. They were in a getaway car and came and probably helped him get her off of the porch into the car. That's just my assessment according to the chart, right? Okay, so let's see what these map out to. Isn't this amazing? Is this too cool, you guys? I was just, it's just when you do, take the time and work these, and I mean, and it is a lot of time, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. There they are side by side. This is called, now, when I mapped it, there's from her house, that area is still, from last week, is still showing up. The, what is that? Northwest area is really, really of interest. Now, they found a glove today, a black glove, 1.5 miles from her home. This is the chart from the 228. From the 228. So you can see last night, I moved it out to 100 miles, right? So you can see why we were so excited that they were down by Nogales, because we had a line that went down there. So, Phoenix is not out of the question, friends, because there's a line that goes right back up to Phoenix too. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see how this one plays out. And we're going to see. So, I blew up the charts a little bit more. Oh, okay. So here's what we got on the video. If y'all can see that this is where he tried to put the brush up in front of the Nest camera. And they did find a black glove 1.5 miles away on the side of the highway that looks like this one. Could be it. This is remember when, look at that. Is that remember when we did that case in Minnesota when the congresswoman was unalived? It was so tragic. Remember that guy had a mask on too, and we were all freaking out over that. Look how this is so freaking creepy. I cannot imagine that woman waking up to see that. I cannot fathom it. Who would do that to an 84-year-old woman? Who? It's just crazy. They're going to find him. They're going to find him. They are going to find him. So that's it. Let's see. That was it, you guys. Let's see. I'll try to get with the chat, see what y'all were talking about. I was rambling. Lisa, I don't watch network news, just YouTube, and I'll check out CNN. What I know. I hear you, Lisa, because you get better coverage with the new media, the young kids. That's what they call the young kids now, the new media. I love the young people. I think the young people are wonderful out there reporting the news. I enjoy them. I think it's great. My heart goes out to them. I know it, Linda. It's just, and JLR made me so nervous last night. He almost drove off a cliff. Oh, Lord. They brought up, Tammy, they had the trackers, the border trackers up there today. There's a team. They're the border trackers. They had them up there today. Oh, Wendell, how sweet. Only 7 have hit the like button. You're so sweet. Thank you, hon. That's so sweet. I'm just rambling away. Yeah, you guys, they have the apparently the border tracking dogs are really, really good. So they're back up. And Tammy says, thanks, Wendell, get them. If the picture would come out, I would post it here. I wish you would. Where is she in the, see, there's the picture, Kathy. I don't see a female. Is she in like this picture? You know. Oh, hi, Billy. Billy Schilling is new here also. Well, welcome, Billy. Everybody say hi to Billy. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Holler if you have any questions, y'all. And Lee, welcome. Oh, you guys beat me to it. Hey, Billy, you made it. Awesome. Lisa seems to think there are tunnels there. I think that would make sense. Tunnels. Everybody's reading too many of those Epstein files. Everybody thinks there's tunnels everywhere. They have those washes and the floods. I don't know how tunnels would exist. I don't know, y'all. I think she was taken out through the front. I think she was taken out through the front. What do y'all think? Oh, yeah, I've been listening a little while. I figured if Wendell was expected, maybe I wouldn't get booted. Was accepted. If Wendell was accepted, she wouldn't get. We don't boot anybody, Billy. Everybody can say what they want, right? Sent it in your chat. Oh, crap. I'm so techie, Kathy. You mean my phone? Kathy sent it to my phone. Wendell, they haven't had time to know me yet. Give them time. Oh, Wendell's going to be fun. Good, Wendell. You're going to be fun. We like fun, don't we, guys? The chat, we love fun, Wendell. You can't get kicked off here. The only time we were kicked off, remember, chat and everybody, the only time that, and I can't say his name, we were looking at the guy that was from Germany back in the 1940s, that mean guy, the not so nice guy. We were looking at his chart to see if he escaped and went to South America. And we were looking at his birth chart. It was astrology. It was all astrology. Remember that? And Facebook kicked us off because we were saying his name. So we did get in trouble. That's the only time we've really gotten in trouble, right, y'all? I think that's it, right? Unless anybody can think of other times we got in trouble. We're all family here, Wendell. Missing and or murdered family members in chat. Oh, yes. Lots of, yeah. Family members. We, yeah, absolutely. God, they're all angel families. We have angel families here. Well, they're angel families, but we have angel families here. We are family here. Okay, Billy, I'll talk to you later. There's Wendell. Oh, that's sad. Okay. That's so funny. Wendell's going to be fun. Come back every Wednesday, Wendell. You're going to be fun. You're such a sweetheart. Look, you all, prayers for all your families. We love our angel families here. Here we go. And Tammy says, Lee, the arrow is pointing straight up to Catalina and the rock. Yeah. Yeah, they have to look there. I don't, there's a lot of speculation right now with, a lot of people are speculating and, there's a lot of speculation. I don't know. And I'm not, people said that's not cartel. Because cartel would, okay. And another thing is, they were in the home, 40 minutes? If this were, I think a lot of the experts are saying, if this were an abduction or a kidnapping, they would have been in and out. You don't hang out for 40 minutes and have, you don't hang out inside somebody's home if this was for money. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. Looking at the astrology, I think either Uranus Sun is going to just blow this wide open this weekend or in the beginning of next week, or it's going to be after the eclipse. We're going to have to wait and see. I don't know. There's so many theories. And I think, my daughter is even watching. She said they're even following it at their work. I mean, I think everybody's coming up with different, theories. Thanks, Wendell. I think, I hate to say that, Lee. Lee says she believes that she was carried out. I don't want to think that. I didn't want to think that. There was one splatter, drops and then splatter. So we're going to have to, I think the FBI is doing a bang up job. I think they're doing a good job now. I think they're doing a good job now. Someone when deceased would be heavier. The tracks in the yard, they look like a sled. I don't think so. I don't think they found any. By the time they were talking about that today, that it was the cars and the people that were in and out of the home, there were no tracks or anything that they could come up with. Pictures are in your chat. I don't have a chat here. Chat on my messenger. Oh, okay. I don't know if I can show them. I'll try to show them here on my phone before we head out. Well, did somebody, that doesn't seem like it's the one. Is that like an AI picture that somebody put? These are two side by sides. Look, these are two. I don't think that's two people, Kathy. I think that's just two side by sides, right, y'all? Or is that a new picture that's come out? Can y'all see that? I don't know, Kathy, if that's a new picture that's come out. Not sure. Did they come out with a new picture or is that people? Is that the, I don't know. Or is that somebody I don't know. Where there's two people. I don't know, you guys. It's every 5 minutes something new is breaking. Thanks, Kathy, for sending that. I got it. Wendell what's your channel? Tell us about your channel, Wendell. What's Wendell's channel? We always pick on Wendell in our other groups. Okay. Well, God love him. Why are you picking on Wendell? Y'all are funny. Oh, my screen needs to be full screen. Okay, your screen needs to be full screen. Oh, on my phone? I don't know what this is. This may be a new picture. This looks to me like it's just people comparing people side by sides. I don't know if it's two people or not. Oh, take down the other picture. Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay. Well, let's take down these pictures. Wait a minute. Let me fix all this. Gosh, you guys are getting me all. Now I got to fix everything. Okay, let's fix this. I'll show it to you. I got to take this picture down. You're right. Let me find another picture. Let me get it. Crap. Okay. This is just like too much for my brain. I went to bed late. It's our friend in here. It's her fault. We were up late. We were watching all this crap go on. I'll take this. I wonder what I should do with this. Okay, let's put this there. Oh, whoops. Wait, we'll get rid of this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, there. Here we go. Now we'll do it, and then we'll get off here. So next week we'll do Dolly Madison. We'll do an update on this if we have any updates, y'all. But if not, we will do the Dolly Madison murders. It's really interesting, very interesting cold case. Okay, I'm looking for. Okay, here's the picture now. Okay. Can you see that, y'all? Can you see it now? Okay, I'll do one. Yeah. Okay, can y'all see that? Oh, okay, there we go. That's from Kathy. I don't remember seeing two people on a picture, but it looks like it's a different hat. It's got a ball on the top of it. There you go. Thanks, Kathy. That's the first I've seen those. I'm telling you, it seems like we're seeing stuff everywhere, doesn't it, y'all? We're seeing it everywhere. It's crazy. Well, listen, you guys have a great. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wendell, Billy, thank you for joining in. It was super seeing. Welcome. Thank you for coming in, and for everybody else that's here. Thank y'all for joining me, and keep an eye on this case. We will keep watching it. And yeah, Wendell says the eyes look like a woman. Absolutely, they do. I think this is going to be solved. I think it's going to be solved for sure. There's no doubt about it. But boy, it's crazy, isn't it? Now they picked somebody up last night in the middle of the night, and the lady got on there and said, they didn't have a warrant. They just came in, but she gave them consent to search the house, but yet they released the affidavit that accompanied the warrant today. So there was a warrant for the search that they did last night. So I'm going to get that and read it. There was a warrant because they had the affidavit that went with it. So, but the FBI's like kicking down your door. I mean, you're going to be a little nervous too. I'd be like, wait, I got some maps I need to show you first. I'd have them all doing maps and charts and everything. I'd say, oh, look for everything else later. Let's do some mapping. Well, you guys have a great week. Remember, we're in an astrological little bit of a bumpy ride this week. It's fun, lots of changes. But then we calm down. But what's behind everything after all of this energy, the Great Conjunction, like I said, 8,000 years ago was the last time that happened. Who remembers that? Nobody. So it's historical as far as astrologically goes. So, but thanks you guys for tuning in. Welcome for everybody that's joined us. I enjoyed it. And Cindy said, I sure hope it gets solved soon too. I think it's already solved. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't know. It's really weird. My mind goes, maybe it was a cartel thing. They're not that far from the cartel areas. I don't know. And remember, if y'all remember from last week, the chart said there are many secrets. The chart in that explanation that we did last week, some of the planets showed that there were secrets that are not being told, family things, which they shouldn't be. But that was in the chart. I think she knew. Well, not with all that stuff on, and that mask scared the hell out of me. It was creepy. Very creepy. What does her sister look like? Savannah's. Oh, I got to wait. I'll show you. Savannah's sister, her name is Annie. She is a poet, and she lives there as well. Like I said, 4 miles away. I had a picture of her. Okay, here she is. Now, I don't know if maybe it was a Halloween picture. There's her sister. She's got very blue eyes, though, distinct eyes. You know, she looks like Savannah, her mouth. There she is. Might have been Halloween or something. Maybe she's in a Halloween costume with that skull. And she kind of looks like she's got witch hair on. There's a lot of weirdness. I'll compare them for next week's show. I'll compare the eyes. You know, this is interesting. That's interesting that you said that, Lee. I just got a case on that. A real case. I mean, that's gone on for decades. That they've been sold. I'm not sure because I haven't jumped in the Epstein rabbit hole, but I'm sure that's going to come out in the Epstein files. But I have a case that I have to look at over the weekend where that happened. It did indeed happen. So it does happen. It's crazy. Crazy. It does happen. I'll have to see if I am allowed to share that case. I just got it. So I think one went in the back and one in the front. Absolutely. The chart tells us that. So we'll have to wait and see. Well, you guys have a great week. Have a great Valentine's weekend. Have a great weekend. Eat a Reese cup. If you don't have a Valentine, go out and buy yourself a nice big fat Reese cup and enjoy it. So thanks for tuning in. Everybody will keep posted on this case. Say prayers for our friends in Canada and for what they're going through and for the Guthrie family, and just keep our first responders safe, and everybody be safe. Enjoy the weekend, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll do Dolly Madison next week. So maybe this will be solved for us when we all reconvene. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.